Hey, today I'm going to design a new character for my universe. We'll call him Torin. I played a little with letters to come up with something that sounds like a name. He is a field mycologist. He wanders through dangerous forests, collects and documents mushrooms, and he has a dream. He wants to write a mushroom encyclopedia. When I was a kid, I also loved wandering through the forest and collecting random and interesting looking mushrooms. Before we design his costumes, let's take a look at the character himself. For this drawing, I want to focus on the head. I think in 3 layers. I begin with the structure of the head, then I focus on the features, and then I clean up the lines. I want him to look approachable, so I'll give him rounded features and a smile. At this stage, I focus on clarity and clean shapes. If the structure works, everything will fall into place later on. Let's take a look at the ear. When I teach at live workshops, I often draw the ear in isolation. Beginning with the overall shape and dividing it into its subparts will help you to understand it and draw it from every angle. So let's define the helix first. It is that piece of cartilage that gives the ear its overall shape. It's round and it softens into the earlobe at the bottom. Inside, in the upper half, we'll find the anti-helix, and this is like a cartilage piece that's shaped like the letter Y, like a round Y shape. The final piece we're going to need is the tragus, and it's this bean-shaped and bean-sized piece of cartilage that protects the entrance to the ear canal. Alright, now let's move into the facial details. For this first pass, I'm going to keep him slightly on the realistic side. We will push the stylization a bit further later. I'm sharpening the lines here because I personally prefer clean and neat line work. It helps the structure read clearly, and also if somebody wants to model it later on, it's always nice to have a sharp sheet for reference. To give him personality, I'm going to add a radiant smile. I'm going to round out the chin a bit. And I think it makes him both approachable but also kind of quirky, funny. So we had a quick look at the ear. Now let's do the same thing with the nose. First, we need to know where the nose begins, and it begins at the bridge of the nose, which is like a trapeze shape that sits between the eyebrows. And from there, we're going to construct the nose downward, and we'll give it kind of the shape of a metal bar. Which is going to be the base shape for the overall nose. And then we add our detail. Whenever you feel insecure about any detail, like the nose, ears, mouth, whatever, you name it, I recommend you pull it out, draw it separately, use references, and once you're happy, you go back to your main drawing and add it back in. So good character design only works when it stands on solid anatomy, but now let's move on to stylization. I want the characters in my universe to look charming without being chibi, so we'll adjust the proportions accordingly. Instead of our torso being 4 head lengths high, we're going to reduce it to 3.5 head lengths. You will see this will change the emotional impact. I'm also going to keep the head tilted slightly downward. This is going to make him look humble, approachable, without losing confidence. Now, with my original drawing in mind, I begin to transfer the drawing. So I'm going to try to keep the shape of the nose similar. I'm going to keep the mouth similar. The chin is going to be important for this one. So I'm going to transfer everything we had in our first drawing to the new proportions. So I'm going to copy the shape of the mouth. I'm going to make sure that we have this nose that's wider at the bottom, and we'll also make sure that there is still one eye, one width of an eye between the two eyes. I'm also going to simplify the eyebrows a little. You can see I almost reduced them to the shape of triangles, and then we have this this X-shaped scar on his chin. Maybe he fell during an adventure or something. I think it's a nice add-on that will make the character recognizable. Okay, and now we are ready to add some accessories. We're going to give him a helmet. I looked up some medieval helmets and I thought like this round one looked interesting to me. I liked that it almost reminds me of a mushroom. And then we're ready to draw the final line art. I'm not going to do any sharp edges or anything that's too detailed. There's going to be dents, there's going to be metal, but you will notice everything has still a rounded feel to it because I want this universe to be inviting, and I want it to be more about curiosity than about deadly fights. Okay, and that's it. I added some colors in the end, and I will see you next time when we are going to take a look at another character and have some anatomy highlights as well.